So when a brand gets really successful, it inevitably hits a crossroads. The big question isn't if it should grow, but how. And, the choices it makes next can lead to incredible success or just a spectacular failure. To really get our heads around this, we need to look at a classic branding puzzle.
It all comes down to this question right here. I mean, it seems a little strange, doesn't it? Both are these huge, powerful, well-known brands, yet one of them managed to jump into a completely different world and just crush it, while the other's attempt, well, it became a legendary flop. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly why that happened.
Okay, so before a brand can even think about stretching itself, it has to make a really fundamental decision about its structure. This is what's called brand architecture. It's basically the blueprint for how a company organizes everything it sells. And this is the very first strategic choice they have to make.
Now, what's really cool about this is how it simplifies a huge decision. On one side, you've got the branded house. Think Samsung. The Samsung name is on everything: phones, TVs, even refrigerators. It's one big, powerful family name. And on the other side, you've got the house of brands like Procter & Gamble. You know Pampers, Pantene, and Ariel, but you probably don't even think about the parent company behind them all. Each brand is its own separate star.
But you see, whether you're a branded house or a house of brands, the end goal is always the same: growth. And the most popular tool in the entire toolbox for that is the brand extension. Using a name people already trust to launch something new.
All right, so let's dig into the specifics of how this stretching actually works, because it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. There are really two main ways a brand can try to extend its reach.
First up, you've got the line extension. This is the safe, common move. You already know Fanta Orange, so when Fanta Strawberry comes out, it just makes sense. It's a new flavor, but it's still in the same drink category. The second one, though, this is the much riskier move, the category extension. This is when a brand takes a huge leap into a totally different field. I mean, Armani makes clothes, but a hotel? That's a massive jump.
And a leap like that is a massive gamble. If you get it right, the rewards are just enormous. But get it wrong, and you can seriously damage the brand you've worked so hard to build. It really is a high-stakes game.
So you have to ask, why even take the risk? Well, the upside is incredibly tempting. When you use a name people already know and love, your new product gets this instant halo effect. We, as consumers, feel safer trying it out. And the big retailers are way more likely to give you that precious shelf space. You save an absolute fortune on marketing because you don't have to build awareness from zero. It's a powerful shortcut to growth, for sure.
It all sounds great, doesn't it? A faster, cheaper, less risky way to launch new stuff. But if it were that easy, everybody would do it perfectly every single time. So, what's the catch?
And this is where it can all go wrong. A bad extension can just confuse people. But worst of all, it can dilute what the brand even means. Think about it. If a brand is known for one specific thing, but then it suddenly tries to be everything, what does it really stand for anymore? A failed extension doesn't just quietly disappear, it can actively hurt the reputation of the parent brand that it came from.
So this brings us right to the heart of the issue. The success or failure of a brand extension doesn't happen in a boardroom meeting. Nope, it happens inside our heads, inside the mind of the consumer. So, what's the mental math we're all doing?
The single most important factor is this concept called perceived fit. It's really just that gut feeling we get. Does this new product feel right coming from this brand? Is there a logical, believable connection?
Researchers have actually broken this gut feeling down into 3 questions we subconsciously ask. First, are the products complements? Like, do they get used together, like a bicycle and a cycling helmet? Second, are they substitutes? Can one replace the other, like tea and coffee? And third, is there a transfer of skill? Does it seem like the company that's awesome at making cameras has the right stuff to make a great drone?
But here's the twist. Just when we think we have the formula all figured out, the research shows us these successful extensions that, on the surface, seem to have really low perceived fit. And that tells us that the simple rules of complement, substitute, and transfer, well, they don't tell the whole story. There's a deeper, much more interesting game being played.
So how do they do it? This is where we find the most fascinating stories. The brands that successfully broke all the apparent rules of fit and stretched into categories that seemed completely unrelated.
And here's the secret. The most successful, the most ambitious extensions, they're not about transferring concrete product features. It's not about that at all. It's about transferring an abstract idea, a core concept, a feeling, a unique meaning that the brand completely owns.
This table just lays it out perfectly. Caterpillar doesn't make boots because they're experts with leather, they make them because they own the idea of ruggedness and endurance. Armani isn't transferring its sewing skills to building hotels, it's transferring the concept of luxury and sophistication. And Jeep sells baby strollers not because of their engine expertise, but by transferring that edgy, all-terrain image to parents who don't want to have a boring minivan lifestyle.
So why does this work so well? Well, it's because abstract concepts like luxury or innovation are way more flexible and transferable than concrete, functional ones like cleans well. A brand built on prestige can apply that feeling to a whole bunch of different products. A service brand like Virgin can transfer its whole vibe of a fun, customer-focused experience from airlines to mobile phones to gyms. See, they're not selling a product, they're selling a feeling, a benefit.
And once you see it this way, it totally changes how you look at the brands all around you. It's not just about what they make, it's about what they mean. So think about a brand you absolutely love. What's its real core concept? And based on that, how far do you think it could actually stretch?